At first glance, unmanned tech seem to be just funny toys, but if you think for a moment, then you begin to understand this is our future. This is the same breakthrough that will definitely change our lives, like the invention of the cell phone. Once released, first cell phones were compared to the bricks, and jokes about the mobile phone being useful only to fight off robbers were at top. Anyway, smart people understood this was a world-changing breakthrough. Not right away, of course, but decades will pass, and in the end, this brick-like thing will change the world. Just as we can't imagine life without a smartphone, soon we will not be able to imagine without unmanned vehicles, UAVs. We are not talking only about flying, but also blowing, sewing, transporting, flowing, shooting, rescuing. Soon our world will be filled with robots. The first robots to massively serve humanity will be unmanned aerial vehicles. But today it's not about that. Drones are gradually entering our lives, and Russia is way ahead of everyone else. In the field of unmanned agricultural machinery, we have two unconditional leaders, Rostselmash, which is creating its own system, and Cognitive Agropilot, which successfully entered a global market. Works to develop UAV for transporting mail are in full swing. Russian Post about to introduce UAVs in extraordinary quantities. Drones will massively begin to work for people, not somewhere out there, but nearby, and such giant like Russian Post will give a serious impulse to such developments. In agriculture, function of monitoring fields is already assigned to UAV in large forms. Literally a year ago, I saw a Chinese monitored drone that can be bought on a Dawn Field Day exhibition in Russia, which sparked a great interest among visitors. It was nice to know that such drones have already been created and already produced in Russia. They are made by company Aeroglobe and are used not only for monitoring, but also for other agricultural work, like fertilizing. So, what about military? Country safety is always a #1 priority. That's why until very recently Russia was working together with Israel to set up the production of UAVs. Today we are ready to teach everyone about the civilian UAVs. By the way, who in the world working on self-driving cars today? Only such Russian giants as Yandex, Mail.ru, Kamaz, and Lockwood American, Google and Amazon. In rail transport, for example trams, Russia is way ahead of everyone thanks to the development of cognitive pilot. Yandex robots deliver food even in the United States. Radar MMS company produces UAVs for rescue services. And what about deep sea UAVs, in the production of which Russia is also one of the world leaders? There are dozens of large and small design bureaus in Russia working on unmanned aerial vehicles. Once again, without exaggeration, there are dozens of them. It's no longer a whim of some oligarchs. There is no longer the effect of the order of an official who decided to show off. No, it is no longer even a trend. This is a reality, a new, inevitable reality. A country that's considered by some Russophobes and just a bunch of not very wise people is considered to be a gas station right now, creating the future. It will take 10 years, and the drone delivering your mail will become something usual, as the smartphone in your pocket today. Just unlike smartphone, a drone will be developed and produced in Russia. Russia now facing some kind of boom in UAVs. It's tough to say what is the reason, but I have never seen such a variety of drones of all shapes, types, purposes and size until now, and I'm not talking only about military models, now we're talking only about civilian ones. Many models of multi-purpose serial civilian UAVs are already being produced in Russia. There are really a lot of them, and I'm not sure we have enough time to tell about them all, but I will tell you about the most interesting ones for sure. The most interesting models you can see in the picture with a brief explanation. There are really a lot of drones. There are so many of them that you can actually feel like we are on the verge of some kind of grandiose breakthrough. A little more and all these machines will become widespread, serving for the good of man, greatly changing our world. By the way, many UAVs have shown the possibility of transporting goods, on the example of Russian Post. There is a UAV even delivery of Russian Post, our national post operator actively involved in this. Very soon parcels and letters will be delivered to you by drones. Aeroglobe also shows developments. For example, this is a heavy cargo platform A40 which can carry loads up to 40 kilograms. This drone is for agricultural use. There is a tank with chemistry for spraying, but the A10 platform itself is multifunctional. UAV helicopter-like made for long-distance cargo transportation for KB Rus in Voronezh. UAV aircraft type AK-3. By the way, many UAV developments being carried out on the base of Skolkovo. Here is a tilt rotor An aircraft takes off like a helicopter and then flies like an airplane. This is a sea drone, marine drone, hybrid seal frost resistant complex. This is a helicopter type of UAV from Aeromax, an innovation center of AFK Sistema for the development of civil unmanned projects and digital geographic information platforms. Well, and finally, radar, powerful and well-known design broad developing wide range of UAVs. And these are only the main ones. There are all kinds of prototypes. Now we can see only actually working UAVs. By the way, along with aircrafts, there were also various accompanying developments, control systems, landing platforms, communication systems, jammers, and electronic warfare devices to create a no-fly zone in your country house. It's an absolutely new industry, emerging in Russia right this moment before your eyes. I was sure that it was a drone when it was floating, and on the sides it had paddle wheels, well, like in old motor ships. I've already imagined how this device rushes through the water at the speed of a car, spinning off its wheels and using them as hydrofoils. Turned out that this thing cannot move through the water, and this is exactly the aircraft. Here it is, Cyclone 2020, with the ability to take off vertically like a helicopter, but this is not a helicopter, it's cyclolet, lifting force provided by rotating rotors, which consist of horizontal aerodynamic surfaces, wings. The lift force comes from the incoming air, which due to the wing profile creates a pressure difference from the bottom of the wing, and from the top just like the classic wing. The only difference is, the incoming airflow is created by spinning of the rotor, and not by the movement of the aircraft itself. Although attempts of lifting the cyclolet into the air taken place for a long time, first success came only in 2007. It was experienced mock-up demonstrator weighing 16 kilograms and never became a full-fledged aircraft. Russia is the first country in the world to create a full-fledged flying vehicle, a cyclolet. Last year, 50-kilogram experimental car took off into the air. Many will ask, why? After all, there are helicopters, there are quadricopters. Why is cycling better? It's not better, it's just different. It does not serve as a replacement for already existing aircrafts. It's an addition to them. For example, it's much quieter, its rotor spins relatively slower, emitting less noise than helicopters. Cyclolet is also able to create thrust in different directions and perform maneuvers, regular helicopter count. Like a helicopter, Cyclolet is capable of taking off inclined surfaces and landing on them, which in fact makes it a flying car. It doesn't have helicopter-like blades that can catch something in flight. Its rotor is safely hidden in castings and then are fully protected, so you can't moor even to the building on any floor. Of course, it's still a long way to go. The study of such flying has just begun, but in the near future 4 times heavier machines will rise to the sky. Obviously, Russia has high hopes for this type of aircraft and has clearly decided to become the first country in the world to create a serial cycling. This, by the way, is quite symbolic, because the very idea of cycle was proposed by Russian military engineer Yevgeny Pavlovich Sverchkov back in 1909. As you can see, history repeats, just on a completely new technological level. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell.